Oh, that's just a lovely.
I'm thirsty.
Oh, we didn't see you guys there.
Ha!
This is gonna drive me crazy.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Well,
Wait,
welcome
do
to
it.
Dig a Little Deeper.
Oh no, I thought you were gonna do like a country bear intro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Howdy, folks. Welcome to the one and only Dig a Little Deeper, where we dig a little deeper into our favorite Disney attractions and share some of our memories and a little bit of history, mostly laugh.
Enough of that him ham flim flam and dim dam.
What was
Isn't that what they say?
in essence,
Close
but,
enough.
made it your own. to quote the American Idol judges of a decade ago.
That's what I remember. Enough of that flim flam, rim ram, kim cam. Let's get on to the show. First of all, my name is Henry. I'm your host here today. To my left is the famous Teddy Barra.
Hi.
On the upper right, oh boy, nope, don't screw this up. Is Shelley. Let's just go with that.
You could have gone with Bunny.
I could have, but by that point, I got so paranoid. I froze.
He's like, I can't remember any of them.
And
Okay.
then down below, over there,
Our very own
Big Al. Oh, thank you, Brian. Just wait around for a while. It gets even more so.
Oh yeah, totally.
So no, actually, I'm Doobie, the co-host of this show and the co-founder of Laughing Place. This is Rebecca.
Hi.
Over there in the upper right is Shelley. Well, you're still Shelley. And down below is the Laughing Place vice president of attractions that opened at Disneyland after they opened at Magic Kingdom. That would be Jeremiah. Luckily, this is one of them, so you're in the right place.
I can think of
I got
two.
like 5, I think.
Okay.
Really? Oh, okay. You're doing better than me.
Yeah. So today we're talking about country bears. Before we start, we'd like to remind you guys, please, like our stream if you like it. If you don't like it, don't unlike it. Just move along to something else. Subscribe to our channel, ring the bell so you get notified when we go live, which we do a lot. In this show, Dig a Little Deeper, as Rebecca said, we take an attraction, we look at it on its surface level, and then we dig a little deeper. And we don't only talk about it like we're not just doing Disneyland's Country Bear Jamboree. We're talking about Country Bear in all its forms, in all its incarnations around the world, all the pop culture that's come out around it, the movie. We're going to touch on the movie here. I mean, if there's anything having to do with Country Bears, I mean, we may even go to Yellowstone and talk to Yogi for this one. We are going to it all.
He doesn't live in Yellowstone. He's not a country bear. It's so wrong. Wrong on so many levels.
He doesn't live in Yellowstone?
No.
Jellystone, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we may get Ranger Rick in here. So before we start, let's just real quick, as we normally do, where does Country Bears rank for you? Is this just ho-hum, another chance for air conditioning, or is this a quality attraction that you look forward to on your trips to the park? I'll start with you, Shelley.
Quality, I think. But I mean, the AC. We're gonna be real honest. It's a great bonus. But I really love just going in there and just bopping along, singing along. Because most of the people in there they either fall into one camp or the other camp. They love Country Bears, but they're there because somebody made them go in. So either way, it's a good time.
How about you, Rebecca?
For me, Country Bears is definitely a favorite. In fact, at the age of about 10, I had the entire thing memorized because they had that beautiful LP that one side was the attraction soundtrack, and then you'd flip it over, and the other side was music from the mile long bar. And so I had memorized it beginning to end, and I've always been a big fan of Country Bears, and so when it moved to Florida, so did
I. Jeremiah.
Definitely high. As a California boy, I would always go into the Country Bear Jamboree at Disneyland. It was one of my favorites. I grew up with the Christmas edition and mostly the summer vacation. And the original, just like Rebecca, I knew that backwards and forwards because of the tapes and everything that had been put out. Doobie, what about you?
Well, for me, growing up going to Disneyland once a year, obviously Country Bear was a big deal. But let's be honest, in my family, we weren't walking all the way out to the end of Disneyland for Country Bear. That just wasn't happening in my family. So we did it every now and then. But having moved to Florida, where thankfully, it's much closer to the central part of the park, so I don't have to get tired going to it. And plus, the guests in Florida honestly seem to really get a kick out of it. It's still popular there, and they laugh like they've never seen it before, which in Florida might actually be the case. And it's a really fun experience to go enjoy it in Florida. So yeah, it's pretty high on my list, but definitely a better fit for Florida than California.
Now, it originated in Florida.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've always found kind of fascinating is that in Florida, it was so popular that when they brought it to California, they opted to bring it with 2 theaters. And I don't think it ever quite had the same focus, attention, foot traffic as it did in Florida.
Oh, you had to walk to get there.
What do you say, Jeremiah?
But I do remember every single annual pass holder saying that they saw Country Bear Jamboree every time they went to Disneyland when they decided to close Country Bear Jamboree. No, yeah. I just the same. They did the same in Tokyo, where they built 2 theaters over there when they transferred it to that park for its opening.
They did the same thing at Soarin', I believe, built 2 theaters. So let's go into a little bit of the history of the Country Bears. So as we've mentioned, it opened at Magic Kingdom first. It was the first attraction, I believe, to open at Magic Kingdom before Disneyland. Obviously, it was an opening day attraction at Magic Kingdom. But believe it or not, Rebecca, it was not created with the idea of putting it in Magic Kingdom. Do you know why it was created?
Why don't you tell me?
So it was actually created for a project Disney was working on called
Mineral King Ski Resort.
Mineral King Ski Resort. Yes, that is correct. Which would have opened in the mid-'60s, and they would have had something called the Bear Band Restaurant Show.
Because the thought was during the day you would enjoy the beauty and the outdoor activities of the Mineral King Resort. And then in the evening, they didn't want you to go somewhere else to spend your money. They wanted you to stay nearby to spend your money. So they used this.
Created Pleasure Island. Oh, wait.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They'd use this bear band as a way to keep you close.
They knew people were going to try to go down to Church Street Station, and they didn't want that to happen. So, but you know, like many good projects, Mineral King Ski Resort did not come to be. So instead, they said, hey, we've got this thing we're building down in Florida. Why don't we put this there? And this was a project worked on mostly by 2 Imagineers, one named Mark Davis, and another named Albertino.
Very good.
And so they put it there in Florida, where it was a pretty big hit. It was an e-ticket, believe it or not, for those of you who know what ticket books are. This was not a minor air-conditioned reprieve from the real fun. This was an e-ticket attraction, a huge animatronic show with tons of songs, with the help of Exitencio and George Bruns. So, and then 1 year later, or actually only about 6 months later, in March of 1972, it opened at Disneyland along with Disneyland's second all-new land, and that would be Bear Country, of course. And so Bear Country with Country Bear Jamboree as its centerpiece opened with 2 theaters, as Rebecca said, and that's the way it played. It was a e-ticket there as well, and people were happy.
There you go.
There you go.
There's
I didn't really have an ending set up for it.
And then, I mean, in the mid-'80s is when you had the various overlays.
Yeah, in 1984 was the first time they had the Country Bear Christmas special, which I think most of us generally agree is the worst version of the show, right, Jeremiah?
Wrong.
Oh, go ahead, Jeremiah.
It is the best version, and also, if not for the Country Bear Christmas special, we would not have any holiday overlays, including Haunted Mansion Holiday, because it was the first.
Yes, it was the very first time that Disney has taken an attraction and decided to do different versions of it at different times of the year.
I'm going to have to look more deeply into that. I'm not sure I buy that.
Really?
Yeah.
It was.
I believe you. That the perception.
I had.
I don't know. I feel like.
I wrote a trivia question, and it had to go through not only the people at the archives, but the all-powerful, may he rest in peace, Dave Smith.
Oh, okay. I'll give a tip to the cap to the knowledge of Dave.
And then two years after that, they realized that the original Jamboree was maybe a little long in the tooth, and it's not that big a deal to change this thing. So they came out with something called the Vacation Hoedown, both in Disneyland and Disney World. And I think for a lot of us who aren't as old as, let's leave it there, that is the version we grew up with, is the Vacation Hoedown.
So Jeremiah, when you were going to Disneyland, because I know Shelley's visits have been more recent, like in the 2000s maybe.
Yeah.
But Jeremiah, your trips, were they bear country or critter country?
Bear country. I can remember I can remember the construction of Splash Mountain. I had pictures of my first visit or of visits in. I was always hey, I want to go to the Country Bear Jamboree.
I loved the transition to the bear country area with there was the hillside, and then you had the cave with
Rufus snoring.
Rufus was snoring up there, and then the welcome sign referenced J. Audubon Woodlawn. And my family being Disney geeks, we thought that was really super cool because he wasn't an oft-referenced character.
So let's talk a little bit about that original show. Jeremiah being our historian, why don't you talk about it a little bit? So I know I read that Exitencio and George Brunt are given a lot of credit for the music, but not all the songs in that original show are original, correct?
Correct. It's mostly a mix of older songs, country songs. That is actually one of the reasons why there's still a lot of problems getting the full soundtrack, because Disney has to pay rights for some of those. It overall is mostly just bits and pieces of older country songs, older folk songs, and then of course it wraps up with the best song ever, the ballad of Davy Crockett.
Yes.
No, not Blood on the Water.
Yeah, Blood on the Water.
Saddle.
Blood on the saddle.
Blood on the saddle.
Wait.
Candle on the Water, Blood on the Saddle.
Disney songs.
Right around the same time.
I thought one thing all us Disney fans could agree on is the greatness of Blood on the Saddle.
No, we can't.
Blood.
Okay, so let's see. He sings Blood on the Saddle in the original. He sings what in the Vacation Hoedown? I'm trying to remember.
Jeremiah.
If I could quote everything right now, it would be amazing. But again, 2 minutes before the show started, I get home and start to try to get done.
Because in the holiday one, he does that the New Year.
Which is great because they would have him as Baby New Year, and then they crossed out the different years until I want to say it was.
He's wearing mining gear, and he got lost on the way. I got lost on the way to your heart. That's what he does in the Hoedown, right?
Yes, according to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one's your favorite? Because Blood on the Saddle is the best, right?
Yeah,
of those three.
Again,
Right.
Christmas is my favorite. I do love the Blood on the Saddle because it is pure classic. Sorry,
What?
David seems to be completely wrong.
But
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I might have to agree with you on this one. Blood on the Saddle is great the first time around, but the way Walking in a Winter Wonderland just keeps coming back.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
That puts it over the top. No, thank you, Jeremiah, for finally giving me something for an intro for you.
I really the Christmas one was my favorite, I think, out of them. But I did like Jamboree more than I enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
Here, Doobie, do you want to put me on big screen, and I'll do that for a little while, and I'll also do my favorite Big Al part of when it's the Vacation Hoedown, and Wendell shoots the gun, and everything bounces around, and Big Al's still singing, and all of a sudden Rufus finally turns on the light on Big Al, and he goes, "Huh? Oh, walking in a winter wonderland."
This is one of those shows where every time you go, you can notice different little big off of me. when you go, you'll notice different things each time. One of the things I really enjoyed discovering was when Gideon was little. Can you pull up the picture of Gideon for me?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool. Is the way that the floor looks in the lobby when you're waiting for it.
Oh yeah.
He's so cute. Oh, it's not here.
Yeah, I will get it.
Okay. We'll show it in a minute or two. But thinking back to the can you show there it is. Okay, we found it. Hang on. It's coming. The other thing is when back at Disneyland, when it was still there, obviously, in the lobby, there would be this little machine, and it would be Henry, and you would push the buttons and pull the levers, and Henry would tap dance for you. And I would enjoy doing that beforehand. But one of the little things I loved about Walt Disney World, and for all I know, honestly, this may have been also at Disneyland, but I just don't remember it, and I don't have photographic evidence, so I don't want to say that it was. But in Florida, it's as if it's been attended by bears, right? And bears have very long claws, and so when they would have walked into the theater, they would have done this to the lobby floor. And I just always found that amusing, the notion of bears visiting the show when I wasn't there.
Yeah, that was in Disneyland, but it wasn't as prominent because they had the wider lobby with the two different sides.
Right.
And more people were looking at the, I don't want to say houses, but the doors of the different bears of where they would actually be staying.
Yeah, it was. You felt more like you were backstage and you were seeing everybody's dressing rooms. Or
thank you. That's exactly what the words I was looking for.
Yeah, and then was one in the ceiling for Teddy Bear, as I recall.
Yeah,
and various things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I was more of a fan. There's part of me that liked the Disneyland one more because of that kind of theater element to it. But Walt Disney World always had far more seating available, and I liked being able to sit on a little bench for the 15 or so minutes that I'd be waiting for a show. So, yeah, 6 of one, half dozen the other.
So, when did it open at Tokyo Disneyland?
I believe it opened at Tokyo Disneyland in 1983, along with Tokyo Disneyland. Am I correct there?
I'm asking you because I'm pretty sure that's the answer, but I've already put out one piece of wrong information today. I don't want to do another one.
Yeah. It opened on April 15th, 1983.
Yeah.
And theirs is 2 theaters, but instead of like Disneyland, we keep both as either the original show or the vacation or the Christmas. Tokyo will have one as the original and one as the holiday, or they'll alternate, which is why theirs is much easier for the turnaround, and why Florida stopped doing the holidays is because they would have to shut down for a month and a half or 3 weeks as it started being to put all the programming and all the props in, and they didn't believe that the international guest and everybody coming to Magic Kingdom for the first time should have to experience something closed, as opposed to Disneyland where it's prominently annual pass holders and locals.
So I feel like we just got into this, so quickly, which is my fault. But there are people watching this show who may even be. That's a laugh. That there are people watching the show. That's good.
No, here's like,
hey, we have like 3, at least 3.
I'm glad you find that funny. There are people watching the show who may not even be all that familiar with the Country Bear, so I feel like we should at least just take them through just a few pictures of the show itself. There is this Florida?
Yes.
I do not remember this singing and stomping and clapping and.
Yeah.
Is that one of my photos?
No.
Okay, because they've changed the sign a few times over the years. They've taken away the 3-dimensionals. They put it back.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got,
the nice big sign to let you know that it's songs with bite.
Thank you, Donna, for setting me straight. And, nice. The famous Max Buff and Melvin, which are still at Disneyland.
Yes. If
kind of.
You're on Winnie the Pooh.
Go ahead, Jeremiah.
So Well, I'll wait until we get into we're closing Country Bear and move on, because there's two good stories about Disneyland Country Bear.
We'll be the judge of that. So just stick your here real quick. Nice close up. Got the. This is a fun thing they do. The way they have this can just. Well, it speaks for itself. What am I talking about? This would be the cast member that works there.
At the time when we were there.
Not all the time?
No, not every time.
And then, of course, the show kicks off with Gomer, which he's
the hipster.
Quite the piano player. Yes.
He's a hipster bear.
Little goatee.
And then the star of the show, Henry, who he's the only bear. Is he the only bear that appears in multiple locations?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I believe he has 3 locations he appears in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then who's this guy? Yep.
That is Zeke. Zeke,
High-class-
Zeb, Ted, Fred, and a bear named Tennessee.
Oh, that's one of the 5 bear
Zeke
rugs.
and
There you
Zed
go.
Yeah.
So the show kicks off with the 5 bear rugs doing a great rendition of whatever song they're doing, depending on the version of the show you're watching. My favorite 5 bear rug song, by the way, I think we would all agree on this, is Ghost Riders in the Sky.
That's your favorite.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We would all agree.
Yes.
Rebecca, we all agree.
Sure.
You're outvoted. We all
Sure.
agree.
We all agree. So say we all.
And then this cute little guy, the bear with the bear. We all love him.
What's his name?
Henry and Oscar.
No.
I mean,
Yes.
Oscar
Yes.
and Bear.
Oscar.
Yes.
I would think Oscar's the
Little
bear.
Oscar wants to hear a story. A real scary story? Uh-huh.
How's he dressed up as a Boy Scout?
Gideon knows what's the best 5 bear rug song.
Oh, Gideon's Tracks in the Snow.
We're making
Tracks in the Snow is hilarious. Again, Christmas.
All right, let me get through this. Just a few more pictures. That guy,
Wendell.
Trixie, seeing
Trixie.
tears.
I always thought that this would be such a great karaoke song if you ever had a Disney karaoke night.
So I'm
Oh.
here to be the chaser to my something. Wendell or Terrence, I never remember.
Terrence the Shaker.
Shaker.
My son's
Wendell
favorite.
was the other one you showed.
Here's Bonnie, Bubbles, and Bonnet Head. The 3. What are they called? The 3.
The Sunbonnet Trio.
Sunshine State.
Thank you.
Bunny. Bubbles.
Bubbles and Beulah.
So I say Bonnet Head just for my son. He hates when I do that. And
He
so
calls
I do
him
that.
Bonnet Head just to annoy us.
And then, awesome part of the show,
Swinging
Teddy Barra, the only member of the Country Bears who got her own additional attraction, the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still missing 2, or will be after Al. You're still missing 2.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a Wendell.
He doesn't have a picture of Wendell. I don't know why.
And there's Big Al.
Yep.
After one of the Imagineers, Albertino, and if you've seen Albertino, there is a striking resemblance. So, did I do Liver Lips? There's Liver Lips.
Nope.
No, with his messy hair.
But I don't think I have a Wendell.
No, we don't have a Wendell in here.
No, you had Wendell earlier.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're talking.
Right there.
You're missing a certain raccoon.
Oh, I do have him.
There you
You're
go.
counting him?
Yes, he's right there.
Thank you.
No worries. Ta-da!
All right, so there is your Country Bear show, and then the grand finale. Now's a great time, folks. Get your cameras out. All the bears are out, except for the ones who are on the flip side of the turntable. Take your pictures now.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Now, when
Oh no, you're right. You're missing the dude with the
Yeah.
mandolin.
The Mandalorian?
that
Yes.
one turned.
Ernest. Oh, thank you, Gideon. This show. Yes.
So when the bears came to town, Disney actually had a storybook on how Big Al ended up with them. He was a delightful bear in the woods who, when he came to town, people were scared of him, and he didn't know what to do. See, they would like run, ah! And then he came across this place called Walt Disney World, where he could walk around and nobody seemed to notice that he was a bear. See, and so then he ends up in the show. Ta-da! It was a cute little storybook.
Yay.
71 called Big Albert Moves In.
So when we started doing our prodigious show prep for this a couple hours ago, Rebecca, all this stuff came flooding back to Rebecca's memory. So Rebecca, I think this will actually give a little demo.
Oh, there you go. See, I found on YouTube. Somebody actually had a video of this thing. It was so much fun.
So a funny fact about Big Al, or I'm sorry, Henry there, you can still make Henry tap dance, but he is now dressed as Pinocchio on Main Street at the Penny Arcade.
Oh!
Or in other lore, he's Woody, tap dancing Woody. There's one of those that's Woody. So, you know, 6 of one, half dozen the other.
I think Pinocchio was closer to the time when Big Al disappeared, or Henry disappeared.
And then the other thing that I recalled was this terrifying experience that was in the Teddy Bear. I don't know why, but this thing really spooked me out. It was over at the Teddy Bear Swinging Arcade, and you would give it money, and then it would challenge you to a quick draw. The doors were closed, and then he would challenge you to a quick draw, and you would put the gun back into the holster, and then he would say draw, and you'd pull it out, and then it would tell you how you did. There wasn't really anything that was visually there to indicate what was going on.
Yep.
But that's what you were doing. You were trying to shoot a guy at Disneyland.
Do you remember this, Jeremiah?
No, but I remember Teddy Bear's was the fun arcade. Like, I love Starcade because the air hockey, and I love Penny Arcade because the nickel things you could just sit there and go zzz. But Teddy Bear's was always the more fun because they had unique games just to that area. I also sent you, Doobie, something that hope you can pull off of Slack. It's one of the rare photos that I have that I've been able to track down like 3 other things about. So here at the Magic Kingdom, when you would exit and you'd hear the bear or everybody singing, you would walk out, and the mile-long bar was just that. It was just that short part, and the other side is now Pecos Bills. But those heads would also sing to you here, where in Disneyland, the mile-long bar, the heads didn't sing. They were just static heads.
I remember the singing heads carrying on the "We hope that you'll be coming back again" when you would leave the Magic Kingdom. Our visits were in the era when this was going on. But we didn't visit the mile-long bar very often at Disneyland because they were a Pepsi serving location, and we didn't like Pepsi.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought the Golden Horseshoe was the only Pepsi location at Disneyland. I didn't know the Mile Long
Nope.
Bar too.
West side was Pepsi, east side was Coke.
You would get your Pepsi in Frontierland and Bear Country, and you'd get your Coke.
Did that extend to like the one side of Main Street and the other? Because that'd be really cool.
No, because Rod was on the west side, and he was always at the Coca-Cola refreshment corner.
That's too bad. By the way, Jeremiah, is this you in the tank top?
Yes. Actually, that's me underneath looking up at Melvin's nose.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at those guns he's got. That's cool.
There's another YouTube channel out there called Saturday Morning Media, and he likes to showcase a lot of the Country Bear collectibles, and it's really quirky and fun. So you should check it out. Can you share that image?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. They still give these out, right?
It was the Country Bear matchbook from back in the days when you would light it up at the parks. So and he has a lot of other things, some coloring books and other Country Bear collectibles throughout the era. So Saturday Morning Media over on YouTube. Be sure and if you're a Country Bear fan, check it out. Be reminded of things that maybe you've had over the years. It was really fun. There were lots of things that I'd forgotten about what it was to visit Bear Country back in the day, because it was different than it was Bear Country, and it was rather empty and rustic. The street was very, very wide. There weren't very, very many people. It wasn't really until it transformed to Critter Country and you brought in Splash Mountain that it started to be kind of heavily populated over there. It was really a respite from the crowds. I know my mom's my mom was like a precise machine when it came to our trips to Disneyland. It was like you'd get there as close to rope drop as possible. You'd make your beeline straight to Fantasyland. You'd get all your Fantasyland attractions in first thing in the morning, bright and early, very quick. And then you would head over to something that was a bit more relaxing. So maybe Small World or maybe over towards Pirates. And then we'd have lunch, and it depended on whether we'd gone towards Small World or Pirates. And then from there, your day because none of us we were really young. So the thrill rides weren't in need of immediate attendance.
Right.
So, and then once we did start to like thrill rides, it tended to be what we'd hit towards parade time. So because we wanted to see the electrical parade, so we'd skip the daytime parade, use that time to hit the really popular attractions, and then go back and
we had a similar routine in my house. Wake up around noon, about 2, you get in the car, get to the park around 3:30, walk in, stand in the longest lines you can find, and then about 6, it's getting late, and get out of there.
Juby and I grew up with very different Disneyland experiences. And I will say that in our marriage, it was quite an adaptation to meld those styles of Disney vacationing together.
That's right. Shelley, did you go to Disneyland during Bear Country days?
I did not.
All right, thanks, Shelley. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Shelley, your proper answer is no.
Proper answer is Rebecca already asked me that.
Did you really?
Yes. Another publication where you could find the Country Bears is the Magic Kingdom comics, and they have an entire adventure. And one of my favorite sight gags in this adventure, let me see if I can find it real quick. I should have marked it.
Donna did it your way. Did anyone go to Disneyland my way? I'm curious. Anyone at all? Anyone?
The few hours a day and then head out. I don't know.
It was not the same.
We didn't go in with a plan. Whenever we went to Walt Disney World, we just kind of we're like, oh, let's go here today. We just go around.
Yeah, that's
and then we just had a good time being together.
We were happier, Shelley. We were happier.
No, it wasn't we weren't stressed. We were like, oh, we got to do what we did.
But you guys would go to Space Mountain and then go, oh, let's go to Country Bears. Yeah. And then you'd be like, oh, let's go over and do the Peep Mover. And then you'd be like, let's go over and do Tom Sawyer Island. My hand should be in the screen more. See, if you go, okay, let's go to Pirates. Let's go to Haunted Mansion. Let's go to Country Bear. Let's go to Tom Sawyer. You don't have to walk as much.
We did a circle, but we weren't we definitely weren't rope drop people because we love breakfast. I still love breakfast to this day. I'm gonna always put breakfast.
Breakfast is the best meal of the day.
The best.
Donna, this was my once-a-year trip to the park. I was not going all the time back in that day.
And then there's the little gag. It's Melvin is like he just sticks his head through the wall, and he's actually the restrooms there.
Right. So let's talk about Tokyo a little bit. Now, I've never been to Tokyo. Shelley, have you ever been to Tokyo?
No, can't say that I have.
Rebecca, have you ever been to Tokyo?
Yes, I have.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting. That's not how this works.
Yes, I have.
So why don't you talk a little bit about Tokyo Disneyland's Country Bear?
When I went to Tokyo Disneyland, it was the jamboree, and what I enjoyed about it was that it cycled through where certain of the songs would be in English and certain of them would be in Japanese, and so it would flip back and forth. And having known the original, front to back, backwards and forwards in English, memorized every bit of it, to have that flip between English and Japanese, and yet it still had, somehow they brought Japanese with a Southern twang. And it was great. I had a good time with it. Yeah, what about you, Jeremiah? I know you've been to Tokyo.
Yes.
We all know that.
Yeah. Because nobody will let anybody forget that. That was actually one of my biggest, when I went to Tokyo a couple of years ago, the Country Bear Jamboree was definitely one that I wanted to go to, because you would hear some of the music in the old albums that would come out, but you never got to experience the whole show. So as Rebecca was saying, they do English and Japanese, and some of the transitions are very strange, and sometimes it's like, oh, that should be in Japanese or that should be in English, but it's just random as can be. So my favorite story of the Country Bear Jamboree in Tokyo was their announcement is in English, their pre-show, and it's, no flash photography, no smoking, no laser pointers, no turn off your pagers, those things. So I'm sitting there in the front row, and I'm like, great, I get a video Country Bear Jamboree. So I hold up my phone, and before the show even started, yes, Donna, yes, I have. The cast member comes over and puts her hand in front of my screen. And she's like, no, 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 no. Because for them, it's you can't do anything. For us, it just says you can't do it. You can't flash photo.
Right.
So it was definitely a strange event, and I'm very sad, but I was able to possibly hit record on my audio, so I have the entire show on my phone at all times. I am also pulling up a couple of photos to send over to Doobie. Again, things that would have been great 10 minutes ago.
The nice thing is there's quite a few YouTube streams out there that have footage from Tokyo. How
is this possible?
Tokyo, over the years, different things happen.
That is true. That is true.
You know, you can gain this in a variety of ways. Unfortunately, the challenge is because the way the technology has it with cell phone, with cameras and such, that room is so large, and the audio is coming from so many different places. To get very clean recording, like audio record, that's what's challenging, is to get a really great clean recording of the Japanese is challenging. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in my many boxes of Disney stuff is an audio cassette I purchased on my trip to Tokyo. And I'm pretty sure that it has a few songs from the Country Bear Jamboree in Japanese. Because that was the main thing when I was shopping at the bazaar, was I wanted to be sure that the albums that I brought home from my trip were in Japanese. I didn't want to bring home English music from my trip. And
by the way, Jeremiah, did you know arigato means thank you?
Doobie just learned this the other day. He's very proud.
Yes, Mr. Roboto. One of the fun things about the Country Bear in Tokyo, though, is they do have the 2 theaters, but they also, as any Disney fan knows, Tokyo puts out more merchandise. Are we keeping you up there, Shell?
I had to take my allergy medicine today, so I'm like
rough night. Maybe you're at the Swan and Dolphin having some fun there, Shelley.
Hey, move on.
Jeremiah, we're live.
There was an event that had alcohol at the Swan and Dolphin. We talked about it on Laughing Place. Shelley got to experience it. That's
very nice.
Thank you, Donna, for teaching me arigato. That word.
So they have the 2 theaters, and they also have these great displays in the lobby area of different pieces of instruments, different awards they've won. They have photos up on the wall. I think the next one, that's the full lobby. And when you exit the lobby, they have the dressing room doors like they did in California. But on the left, they have more of the oval photos like they have at Magic Kingdom. And there's lots of fun little displays. And of course, they have Grizzly Hall, but their sign is, cooler than most signs that we have in any park here.
Can I ask Shelley a quick question?
Yes.
Do you prefer theater ER or RE at the end?
All right. So I have my degree. One of my degrees is in theater, and I always spell it RE. That's the way we go.
She is an RE.
You got that
I'm
one
an
right.
RE girl.
I'm proud of you. Me too. Wrong. There we go. All right, continue,
And
Jeremiah.
The one more photo is they have a display of how the different songs came up for the how they wrote the different songs, and some are on notes, and they have different instruments, and they have like a pocket square of some of the different songs. They're just scribbling songs on the papers. And their theater is actually in reverse in some cases. So Big L's on the other side. It was very weird.
That is some really cool stuff they have there.
Yeah.
As usual, Tokyo has some really cool stuff.
Yeah, they always get the good
stuff. They do what they call badges, which are as rough size as the wishables, and they've gone through almost every character in the Country Bear Jamboree, the Vacation Hoedown, and the Christmas show in different versions. And they put them out every year.
I love my shirt.
Oh, that was a great line when Disney was selling those 50 states. Those were so cool. Do they still, or did those disappear already? Came and went, huh? Yeah.
Thanks, Lou. But one of the coolest pieces of merchandise that have come out in California in many years, Rebecca was just holding up.
This is California?
They did in California and Florida. I mean, it started out here, but California had it too, because why not make money off nostalgia?
I remember bringing this home in a suitcase, so that's why I was.
Yeah. They had it out here, and then they brought it, and it was in Bear Country.
What is it?
Or, I'm sorry.
It's a jug.
Is it a sipper?
It had beverage in it. Yeah, it had a straw hole, and you could put your beverage in it.
They sell that with sarsaparilla?
I didn't put any sarsaparilla in it. Nope.
So
we're calling it root beer nowadays.
Same thing. 2005. What important thing happened in 2005, Jeremiah? With Country Bears.
Who moved in?
That's not what I'm referring to, but okay. So that was the last year that we had the Country Bear Christmas in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, Pooh moved in well before then. I don't know why.
Oh, that's right. It was 01 in California. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why
they stopped
in there like that.
I wanted to get through that, and then I want to go back.
And then we'll move on to Pooh.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Shelley has the superior shirt. So in 2005, that was the last year we had the Christmas show in Florida. Do they still have it in Tokyo? Yes, of course they do.
Yes, they have all three of the shows.
I was going to say, as far as I know, yes, but I can't speak to current circumstances.
So in the Christmas show is Jeremiah's favorite version, right, Jeremiah?
Yes.
Correct.
Were you one of the people that was just devastated when 2006 came around and there was no Christmas show?
Yes.
So can I tell a fun story? I've told you this story, haven't I, Doobie?
I don't think so.
Okay. This dates back to a gathering of podcasters and websites back in 2006. It was the first year after, and they used to do a thing in Walt Disney World called Mouse Fest. All the sites would get together and they would plan different meets. I was associated with. Okay, we need to put up a poll on our site apparently, which shirt is better. So in my past, I helped out Paul Berry, who is one of the people who was an aficionado of the Country Bear Jamboree, and he still has a bear. It's Done in the Dark, I think, is the site, and it's still alive, and it goes over a lot of the history. But the first year after it closed, we were doing Mouse Fest out here, and he did a meet and greet, and it's Window to the Magic, an excellent podcast if you want some immersive Disney songs and that type of thing. And I still have archive stuff. Anyway, so we have a meet planned for Country Bear Jamboree, and this is close to December, so we're all waiting to move up for our meet. And as we're walking up to the Country Bear to Grizzly Hall, there are a line of cast members, some security, and lots of managers all standing outside. So at this time, I was a cast member in Disneyland. So I kind of go, okay, guys, let's just hold back. And I walk up and I kind of ask one of the managers if there was something wrong. And they say, well, we heard about this Mouse Fest thing, and we have security here because we're afraid that they're going to rush the stage and put Christmas decorations on the bears in the middle of the show. So I go back and tell everybody, and they all are like, no, we're not going to do anything like that. But, so we almost had as much security and everybody around as the Hall of Presidents did when they reopened a couple of years ago. And they're all just watching us. It was one of the most awkward times in my life as far as being a cast member, because I'm like, I'm kind of responsible for these people now because I approached the manager to ask what was going on.
Please.
So the funny ending of that story was, as a result of all the security, they went over to Jungle Cruise and did it there.
Oh,
And that's how we
very
got
nice. Bravo. That's how we got.
If not for us getting kicked off.
There you go. There you go.
And then in 2012, the Magic Kingdom made a slight,
minor, tiny, they took a big knife and went hack.
Streamlining the show, making it just a little bit better, right? Right, Shelley? Right, Shelley?
No.
What did they do in 2012?
No. They hacked that thing to death. It was awful. It is awful. I love it, but it's just
awful. You've turned into Godzilla.
It's just one of those
they
things
completely cut out Ernest. Ernest is gone. He doesn't appear in this anymore. Yeah.
Oh, that's devastating.
I'm wrong. They moved him to the beginning, but he has a very short, really quick mandolin, and then it's done.
Yep.
It just the transitions are weird. The flow is weird. It's just.
Yeah, they cut out random lines, but anybody that's going to the Magic Kingdom anytime soon, go see Country Bears, because if you don't go see it, it could go away. And, who knows if they'll put Toy Story or something in there.
You never know. You never know. They're always looking to refresh things.
Shelley, quick question for you. Now, shut up, Jeremiah. Quick question for you, Shelley. Do you prefer the streamlining of Country Bears or Tiki Room?
Neither. I think that's the correct answer. Is neither, in my opinion.
See, I wonder if the Country Bear editing wouldn't be as egregious if I didn't know the other ones so well. So
it is definitely that case.
Because I still struggle with Tiki Room because I'm waiting for that transition to the
Offenbach.
Yes. And
no, you're not.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Oh, yes.
100%. My mind goes to that. The same thing happens to me with the Main Street Loop now, right? My mind goes to what was the next song in the Main Street Loop, and something else starts to play, and I get oh, wait, what's going on? And by the way, don't get me wrong. I'm not oh dear, they should never have changed it or whatever. It's just one of those things where it's I feel like I've tripped. What? Okay, now I've got my footing again, and then I keep walking.
When I go to Frontierland, I still expect to be on Rainbow Ridge and Mine Train, and then all of a sudden we're whoa.
So what I was saying about the Country Bears in Florida, if you go in there, watch Max, Buff, and Melvin, because they edited the Bear show, but where Max, Buff, and Melvin used to talk to each other and make comments, they didn't edit their programming. So you'll still see them move, and their mouths move, and they look at each other, but they didn't they moved the headstones, not the bodies.
So we have a bona fide question here. One of our Disney World experts can answer.
No, it's open. There have been times where it opens later in the day, usually an hour later, but 5 o'clock isn't a norm for anything.
Okay.
For me, that I've seen.
No, I haven't. I don't remember a time when that was a consistent thing.
So in doing this research, and Rebecca actually remembered this story about Mark Davis and Country Bears. So it's a tad bit more serious. So I'll pass that off to my wife.
Well, we've been talking a lot recently about attractions that were part of that transition period when Walt had passed away. We just did Pirates of the Caribbean, which was a similar topic in a way, because it was an attraction where there were stories of Walt's interactions with it and everything, but then he never saw it seeing to fruition. And similarly, the Mineral Kingdom project was in development when Walt was still around. And there's a story that Mark Davis likes to share that we had heard at a discussion of his ages ago. And he talked about how he was working on the bear sketches, and Walt popped his head in and chit-chatted about the the drawings and laughed about them. And then on his way out, as Mark tells the story, Walt said goodbye and left. And it struck Mark in that Walt didn't tend to say farewell, goodbye, that type of thing. He would just come in, look at your stuff, and go. It was the way Mark described his demeanor. And then it was the last time that Mark Davis actually ended up seeing Walt Disney, and he passed away shortly after. And so it's just one of those stories around the connection that his team had with him, and the I don't know, it was another one of those stories that kind of brought you into the demeanor and the interesting connections that Walt had with his staff, and then the ways that in retrospect people wondered, maybe I should have seen the signs that there was more to his cough than I knew. And that was just one of those stories. But now my memory is that we actually heard that story at a presentation that turned out to be one of Mark Davis's last presentations, and he passed away shortly after he shared that anecdote. That my memory is that's where we saw Mark. We were fortunate enough to see Mark speak a few times, and I'm pretty sure that it was at that presentation that we actually heard Mark Davis sharing that story. So it's one of those things that there's just beyond the artistry and the talent that brings emotion to these characters, there's also these anecdotes and these tales that we've been fortunate enough as Disney fans to hear that only kind of bring further love and further heart into our experiences when we see these rides. And also, another element of sadness with this attraction is that for Disneyland, at least.
So at the Magic Kingdom and Tokyo, this attraction is still open. Disneyland, it no longer is. It closed back in 2001. So here's actually a picture. This is the week before it closed. This picture is from early September 2001. And
that's Paul. Do you see Paul?
Yep. This is a group of us that used to meet at the park. Here's Rebecca.
That's why we smiled when we said, "There's Paul Berry."
There's Paul and a bunch of other people. The late great Dave Mustanich, who helped found this site and died earlier this year. So his daughter Stephanie, who's now anyway.
Pamela down front, I believe, is one of the Mouse Fest originators. I'm pretty sure.
Can we also talk about the classic DCA Disneyland yellow bag? Because that's where my eye went.
Yeah, the clear bag, right? It was slightly clear, so they could see. I remember that was a big deal at the time because usually the merchandise bags were opaque, and suddenly you now had these bags that were semi-seeable, and so buying things in secret were more challenging.
And then there's this guy here. I think he's a pin collector. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's Roger. That's our friend Roger, and his wife Laura is standing behind him.
That's a few pins.
Yeah, no, he was quite the pin collector. He also is a popcorn bucket collector. So you'll find him in popcorn bucket groups.
So, and of course, I will never forget the day Disneyland's Country Bear closed. It was Sunday, September 9th, 2001. And for obvious reasons, that day sticks out in our mind. But they actually had a banner there for the last day, which was really cool, and a lot of us were there. And it was a fun time. It was a sad time. Obviously, 2 days later, the sadness of this got put into some serious perspective. But for that reason, this date always stands out as we'll never forget the day Country Bear closed at Disneyland. Yeah. And it was, of course. Go ahead, Jeremiah. Sorry.
I was just like, I don't think I ever put that together. Like the two things are so separate in my head because I was there that day, and then it doesn't dawn on me that just 2 days later everything happened.
Right. So you said you had this was of course replaced by Winnie the Pooh, and they kept Max, Buff, and Melvin, and you said you had something to say about that, Jeremiah.
Well, can you put that picture actually back up, Doobie? The entrance. So when Winnie the Pooh, again, just like we were saying earlier, the Country Bear Jamboree never caught on. Even when they put in Splash Mountain, it still didn't draw the crowds back there. And late 2000s was the Winnie the Pooh, like, nonstop. We saw merchandise, we saw shirts. Winnie the Pooh and Tinkerbell were, like, outselling Mickey Mouse. And the Winnie the Pooh attraction had opened here in Walt Disney World to really great reviews. It's a great attraction. I mean, I think out here it's definitely better than the Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad in California is still one of the best dark rides. But when they went ahead and did Winnie the Pooh, this entrance area is still the exact same entrance. You still cross over the bridge. So they kept that. No, Amy, it's not a Jeremiah rant. It's a Jeremiah history lesson. Two different things. I'm not ranting. I have no problem with Pooh. Things need to change. The country bears out there were well past their prime. So when you go on to the attraction, the Winnie the Pooh attraction, when you go into the Heffalumps and Woozles room and you see Winnie the Pooh from the hot air Woozle or Heffalump, that is actually a teddy bear rig that is still used because the supports and everything to support her are what has Pooh floating up and down. And then when you're coming out of the Heffalumps and Woozles room and you turn around and you see Max, Buff, and Melvin's heads, it is actually the static heads that were from the Mile Long Bar, not the animatronic ones that were in either of the theaters.
Now, where are the animatronic heads?
Probably, well, I heard...
I think it's, if you look at Yesterland, I think Yesterland had a picture of a poor Max just laying on the ground in a parking lot somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a really sad picture.
They kind of deteriorated them.
Oh, do you think you saw Melvin?
Yeah, there was a deer in the center.
Oh.
I think we saw one.
So a couple of the other...
Go ahead.
A couple of the other things that come out of the Country Bear Jamboree, early on in Walt Disney World...
Can you answer that real quick in case she missed it? She might be telling a joke, I'm not sure.
Pooh is floating up and down.
Thanks, Amy, for embarrassing me.
The Fort Wilderness Campground, where they have the Hoop-de-Doo, they actually, for a short time, did a breakfast show that was hosted by a Melvin puppet. So there'd be a giant Melvin head sticking out, and he would interact with the show. You can find some of it on YouTube.
Yep.
And there's some random stuff. And then probably the biggest thing that came out of the closing of the Country Bears was, and this has been greatly argued between fans, and nobody's ever confirmed it, but the Oogie Boogie animatronic at the end of Haunted Mansion Holiday, many have said is one of the Big Al animatronics.
Oh, that's a fascinating theory. I like it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
One of the things that was fascinating to all of us out in California was shortly after the Bears closed, they hit the big screen. And the storyline was save our playhouse. And it was like just about a year later that we were out at the El Capitan Theater for the big red carpet and everything of the Country Bears movie, which wasn't particularly well received. You can just run through some of these pictures. But
that is on Disney Plus, though.
Yes, it is on Disney Plus. But one of the fun things that happened for a sizable group of...
Hey, that's you. You did this red carpet.
Yes, I did. That's me interviewing Imagineer Tony Baxter.
Yes.
I don't remember doing that, but okay.
Is that Monk in the background?
Yes, it would be Monk in the background. So one of the fun parts of working at Laughing Places is that we we had the privilege of interviewing numerous people, and one of the
big time celebrities.
one of the individuals that we interviewed back. I want to say in 2000, about a year and a half or so before this event, was Imagineer at the time. Imagineer Terry Hardin, who's also been a puppeteer in numerous films. She was the puppeteer in Ghostbusters for Stay Puft. She also was a body double for Angelica Houston in Captain EO. So she has a really fascinating kind of not only Imagineer history. She sculpted the Brer Rabbit figure that's topped the logs on Splash Mountain. These are some of the projects, many other things.
And this is her, by the way.
But we became, I got to know her and we became friends through Laughing Place. And then she was called to be a puppeteer on Country Bears. And through that, connection and her connection with numerous other fan groups, Paul Berry with Done in the Dark Productions, the NFFC, which is now the Disneyana Fan Club. She was actually invited us to come and be extras in the Country Bear film. And so as you watch the scene in, with the concerts and everything, there's probably about 2 dozen individuals. I know Jim Hill is out in the crowd. Paul Berry's out in the crowd. Roger Morgan, who you saw with the pins. Doug Marsh, who has written for Laughing Place. He was there. And then I also found myself there. And at at
the Red Sea part.
It is so funny.
And there, right in the middle, is this lovely vision right here with her star moment.
But it was really funny because so my family got very excited at the idea that I was going to be. Now I'll be honest, I went because I wanted to write about it for Laughing Place. This extras thing. I went because I wanted to be, write about it for Laughing Place. Terry very kindly let me learn about puppeteering. I got to operate the Teddy Barra character for a little bit, and I can tell the skill of puppeteers is amazing because those handles that she has there, those are the eyebrows. It's a 2-person gig. You have somebody who's puppeteering, who's like in the figure or whatever, and then she's manipulating the face, and it's just she's told so many stories about it, and she's a fantastic storyteller. So if you find her through her Facebook page, Terry Hardin Jackson, or just Google her, you'll find her. And like I say, she's a tremendous storyteller. She'll tell her stories better than I do. But so my family's all excited. I'm going to be in this film, right? And so we're watching the movie. And they don't see me. They don't see me. They don't see me. They don't see me. Terry's with us at the theater, and she's like, I know Rebecca got, it's shown in this film. I remember seeing her, but she couldn't remember where I ended up in the film. And so it literally, I want to say it's like the last minute and a half of the film. It's like the concert finale scene, and there's everybody like cheering and clapping, and the people in front of me are the main character's parents. Okay. He has human parents. He's a bear with human parents.
Of course. And
they're shoulder to shoulder and they're dancing. And I know I'm right behind them. And they're dancing. And then all of a sudden they move like this. And the theater effect of the concert is boom. And it illuminates the audience. And so it's like, there's Rebecca. And my entire family, it was like a row of us, start screaming in the theater. It was the funniest thing. But yeah, it was a really sweet thing that Terry did to get us all involved. And it was up at the property for Disney, the
Smoke Tree?
No, it's not Smoke Tree, it's Golden Oak.
Thank you.
And so it's where all those legendary Disney films that I grew up with were shot. The ones from the 70s that, people of my generation adore. And then I guess some of the previous stuff, like I think maybe even Spin and Marty might have been up there too.
Spin and Smarty were up there.
That was the generation before me, so it didn't. The ones that I remember were went there and saw. But it was a really fun thing. And so now we all have a Disney credit. And I remember at some point we all got a little check with the Disney. I wonder how many of us actually cashed it, but we got the check from the Disney company for being an extra. So it's a fun memory that Terry was very kind to offer to people who she knew it would matter to. And I'm thankful. And Paul and I still, whenever Paul Berry and I cross paths, we always talk about our moment in Hollywood. It was a fun time.
That was cool. I love that. I was at home working.
Yes, he was. He was at home paying the bills.
I didn't get to go.
I was out having fun in Santa Clarita.
So
yeah, fun time.
Shelley, what movies have you been in?
Have you yet? Not yet.
No. Really? Are you muted on purpose?
Oh, we've lost her audio.
Oh, Shelley, I'm so sorry. I was just going to come to you for your 5-minute monologue. Oh, look at that face.
Oh, that face. Wow.
Jeremiah, have you been in any movies?
I was an extra in the first Spider-Man film in the giant scene, and I have not been able to have my moment on the screen like Rebecca, but I will tell you that being an extra in LA is much like being kind of like stuck in a bad camp with fences around and barbed wire, so you couldn't leave until they were done with you for the day.
Well, it was funny because in our case, because Terry had invited a number of us to be a part of it, and being Disney nerds, passionate Disney fans, we were like enamored with the opportunity to like be a part of that magic. And so there was you could walk into a room and instantly tell who were the Disneys and who were the normal extras.
Yeah.
There's a very different feel of excitement. But I mean, honestly, for us, it was a unique opportunity, and for a lot of other people, it's their typical 9 to 5, pay the bills, type of experience. I get it. I'm not trying to.
And the nice thing is,
throw shade.
And the nice thing is, you didn't know how bad the movie was at that point.
Hey, it's okay.
It was okay. It was what it was. It was formulaic.
Do you know who on our team has actually been in a lot of movies as extra?
Oh,
Kyle.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Tony and show his.
I thought you were going to. He was going for the joke. No, he was going for the legit fact.
Kyle's done a lot of extra.
Kyle's done a lot of extra.
Kyle's extra. By the way, Shelley, I did not know you were a theater major. Are you a fan of Hamilton? Yes, you are.
Oh,
we've totally lost her.
Yeah, but I can read her
Doobie,
lips.
I do.
Yes, Jeremiah.
I do have some heartbreaking news for you, Doobie.
What?
The Hamilton billboard at Disney's Hollywood Studios has been removed and replaced with a Kelly and Ryan billboard.
That's crushing.
I saw that today, and I was very the first thing I said is, Doobie's going to be heartbroken.
Yeah.
By the way, not everyone agrees with you, Jeremiah.
Oh, thank you, Luke.
Oh no, I'm not saying that seeing my friends in the film is great, and the animatronics and the puppeteering on the bears are amazing. It's just everything else in it is bad, including Christopher Walken.
Do you remember Christopher Walken's performance in that?
Yes, it was Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken.
Do you remember who did the voice of the lead bear?
Absolutely not.
Haley Joel Osment. I see dead bears.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Are you back with us, Shelley? Nope. Okay, good to know.
Wow.
I'll keep checking.
I wonder why we've lost her.
Go fix. We would love to have you fix. I mean, we like to see you. You still add even aesthetically, but we'd love to hear you too.
The nice thing is for all of us in California, we know the Bears are still in Florida, whether they're in the Playhouse or dancing down Main Street to Boo to You.
Or up on the balcony being socially distant from everybody. Yeah.
They are some of the more interesting walk-around characters.
Interesting is a nice word. I think terrifying might be
Shelley?
Might be more accurate.
Nope.
What else do we have? Do we have
I'm
checking what other pictures we've pulled.
The Jingle Bell Jamboree, is that just the Christmas version in Tokyo? This is a Tokyo picture.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's Tokyo.
I love this shirt. Do you have this shirt, Jeremiah?
I don't. I sadly I missed out on that. The one shirt that I have wanted and Disney has never made. I mean, I've seen the independent make it is the I think I heard Shelley for a second. Yay! I was going to get out my old camp T-shirt, but it never got produced.
Yeah, the Camp Grizzly. Yeah. I love that. Still fits, kind of.
I think that's the Country Bears. Did I miss anything? Is there anything anybody wants to say? Shelley, now that you have your microphone back, did you want to speak?
I think we talked about everything. I mean, it's a fun attraction. Lovely AC. Used to be fantastic. Now it's still good, but weird. There it goes.
And did you say you were a fan of Hamilton?
I am, yes.
Okay, good. Jeremiah?
No, I think this could be our most Diggle Leaper where we stayed on track the most.
But it's such a bear track. Sorry, it's so much to
tracks in the snow
that if we were going to get through it, we had to really focus. And I'm very proud of everyone here for focusing. Rebecca, anything more you want to say your show?
No, I was going to transition into our hiatus.
Transition.
So in recent weeks, we've explored Pirates of the Caribbean. And of course, I didn't find it before we did that show, but I have since found my piece of 8 that you used to be able to get as a little souvenir of your adventure. Look, it's a nice thick thing, and then you would stamp it. And long ago, I stamped Laughing Place on it, but it was cool. And then the other thing I stumbled upon and we discussed was Big Thunder Mountain. And those are all here on the Laughing Place channel. You can watch us chit chat about attractions, share what we love, share what we know. And we're getting ready to take a bit of a break from Dig a Little Deeper. And we'll probably tool it a little bit. We have some ideas that we want to bring to it for future broadcasts. But we appreciate those of you who've been tuning in the past few weeks. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Do you want to say specifically when?
Yeah, this is not a like, something's wrong, we're taking a break. No, this is a planned break because
it's a plan. No, it's a vacation. We're taking an actual vacation.
We were on a break.
and we will take that opportunity to, maybe do some slight retooling. But
totally.
Dig a Little Deeper will definitely be back. As of right now, we'll be back on October 18th when our vacation is over, when we are back here. And I think maybe while we're on vacation, we will, maybe do some research so that we can dig even deeper next time.
Like this.
Yeah. So, and
you never know what I'll find in my archives. I have a lot of boxes and filing cabinets full of Disney items.
So in the meantime, stay tuned. Maybe something else will come in this spot while we're gone. Take advantage of it's like when the #1 rated show goes on hiatus and they try to put in another show to get it to build an audience. Maybe someone will take advantage of our time away and try to do that. We're always happy to help everyone else out on Laughing Place.
We'll raise all ships.
Raise all ships, yeah.
We're a big family here at Laughing Place.
We're definitely not the Titanic. We're the rising tide.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we are.
Big family here at Laughing Place. So if someone wants to come in and kind of ride our wake to the top of the YouTube charts, by all means.
Oh, see, like I forgot to share this. See?
What is that? Closer.
Yeah.
Oh, I still don't know what it is.
Oh, it was by Charles Boyer.
Oh, Charles Boyer.
And Charles Boyer was showcasing the bears for the State Fair, Disneyland State Fair. Lots of fun. The hootenanny of the State Fair. See, I found that in my archives.
That makes a good ravioli too.
Yeah.
Charles Boyer.
Remember when the Billy Hill and the Hillbillies, you would always get upset that they'd always go see the Bears, but the Bears never came to see them?
Were you there when the Bears went to see them?
No, the Bears actually came to see them once.
It was the bomb. We were there. The Bears came. The walk around came.
It was
insanity. Let me just say, it was really fun. I totally forgotten about that.
It's like a Magic Kingdom cabaret moment.
But it was one of those things where you're totally right. They would talk about Billy Hill and the Hillbillies would talk about how snobby the Country Bears were. We go visit them all the time, and they'd never come see us. And they'd go on. And then one time, the Bears came marching in. Yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff.
Did they ever figure out what the name that they should call when they mix country and rap?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
They can't figure out what to call it.
Okay, that's a whole different dig a little deeper. Shelley would have no clue what's going on.
We really need to have add Billy Hill and the Hillbillies to the wheel.
That's true. That's true.
That's some quality entertainment right there.
We have seen that show. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Tuesday we've got tomorrow. 3 of us here, and then we'll swap out Shelley for Mike C, and we'll be doing Park Talk Live, the week in Disney Park news. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and then Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, we will be doing Disney Trivia Live. And also throughout the week, we'll have many live shows from the parks. Jeremiah may not be doing them this time, but
tomorrow, I believe I'm at the Grand Floridian at one point.
Okay.
Oh, very nice.
But then the rest of the week, I think we're going to have Second-Rate Tony filling in for some of this stuff. I think on Wednesday, he's going to be at Universal. We'll be doing the Scarecrow Stalk scavenger hunt. So I'm looking forward to talking to Tony live across the country. He filled it. He did a guest spot on Disney Trivia Live yesterday. It was actually really entertaining. He got rave reviews. Rave reviews. It kind of ticked me off because I think of that as my show. But whenever we have a guest, they get very big accolades, and I'm starting to get a little concerned.
Tony also has his roommates watch under 3 different names each, so they can make comments.
Okay, well, that helped me feel a little better. So I think that's it for the show today. Remember, like we always say, what do we say? Dig a little deeper.
That was the end of the.
There's worms down there.
Thanks for bearing with us to the very end. Hope you'll bear around to see us again sometime. Also, thank you to you all. We just got over 90,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel. That is an amazing thing because I want to say when I started a few years ago, we were barely 50. And now we're on our way to 100,000.
With the caveat,
your friends, your family.
That was before we started this show. We don't know how many we lost over the past hour.
We'll see y'all real soon.
Bye now.
Bye now.